This video covers Evolutionary History, Chapter 4, Lesson 2. So click into Chapter 4, Lesson 2. This is a continuation of what you just did in Lesson 4.1. They gave you a mystery fossil and you had to decide if you thought it was more closely related to the crocodiles or the ostriches. And we're going to continue that investigation in this lesson. So the first thing, and actually the only thing you're going to submit and amplify, and I will go over that more in a second, is this warm-up. They give you a scenario right here, and you have to pretend that you are describing to someone who does not know what a paleontologist is and what they do. So this is an excellent quick little review of everything you've been learning in this unit so far. And it's good timing too because you're about to take a unit test, which you are still responsible for in a little bit. So this is a good overview, and you need to think about all that we've learned about paleontologists, how they discover fossils, how they have to decide and discover what it's related to using shared structures and other evidence. So you're going to kind of summarize all the key things you've been learning and hand it in down here. In 2 and 3, they're going to be kind of combined. The idea is that you are going to take the evidence cards that we've been looking at and you are going to put them in the category they belong. Meaning, you had 2 claims. Claim 1 said that they thought the fossil was more closely related to the ostriches. Claim 2 said that it was more closely related to crocodiles. So you are going to place the evidence cards in which one you think it fits in. Let me show you what I mean by that, because that kind of sounds confusing. So here's our mystery fossil again, and you have this picture in your Amplify. Looking at this, you're going to look at your different cards, and I will show you an example of one right here. So this one, the crocodile tail. It says here, crocodiles have long tails made of 30 to 40 bones. The bones are connected together. I'm going to look at this, and I'm going to look at my picture down here. I'm going to think about if that piece of evidence that a crocodile has a long tail of 30 to 40 bones better supports that it is a crocodile, well, not a crocodile, but closely related to a crocodile, or if it's more closely related to an ostrich. I see here my mystery fossil also has a super long tail with a lot of bones, so I'm going to think that that evidence card that I just saw right here more closely supports that this is a closer relative of a crocodile. So I would put this evidence card in that section. And I'll show you what that means here in a second. So this is going to be the assignment that you are going to do for the activity 2 and 3 and Amplify. You aren't going to put anything in there really quickly. 3 is just some instructions. Don't even really worry about 3 because I'm going to show you what to do right now. And I already said this, but you are not submitting anything for 2 and 3, only for 1. This assignment will be in your Google Classroom, and it's pretty similar to what you just did in 4.1. You are going to look at all of these evidence cards, and you are going to place them where you think. So you have 2 categories. The first one right here, if you think it is more closely related to an ostrich, or if you think it is more closely related to the crocodiles/alligators. So you will put the evidence cards on which slide down here you think it fits and supports more. A few hints, you can click and drag those to where you want them to go. I was telling my classes a little bit of an easier way might be to right click on it and copy and paste it to where you want it to go. Another hint would be, you know how you can size things when you click on it and has these blue squares around it, and you can make them smaller. That way it can actually all fit, because I think it's going to get pretty crammed once you start putting a lot of them on there. So you might want to make them smaller. And recap real quick, you are deciding which of these fits better with the ostriches and which fits better with the crocodiles. And what I mean by that is supports it. So you want to decide what evidence supports the claim, and you're kind of thinking about which claim you agree with and what evidence supports that. And this is going to be a really important activity too, because you're going to end up having to write out in the next activity is what claim you pick and why, meaning using this evidence. So doing this activity right will be very helpful to you for the future. So other than that, make sure you do this. Make sure you turn it in the Google Classroom and that you did the warm-up for this right here. 4.2 warm-up was submitted and this is submitted, and those are the only two things you have to do for 4.2. So might be a good time to catch up on other stuff. Make sure you're up to date because I've already said this, but that assessment will happen and we only really have about a lesson left. So be prepared for that. Other than that, that's all for me.